WJTV, Jackson, Mississippi. From the news leader in Central Mississippi, this is WJTV, the News Center.
How many children are suffering? Good evening, everyone. I'm Walter Sadler.
And I'm Melanie Christopher. The subject of child abuse is leading the news this evening. Most of you have just finished viewing our child abuse special, Scared Silent. As was reported, child abuse is a persistent problem in America that takes many forms. Now we look to Mississippi and efforts that are underway to prevent this social blight. The News Center's Derek Jones has been viewing the special with Department of Human Services staff that deal with child abuse every day. And he joins us live in the home of one of the workers. Derek, what is the reaction out there?
Melanie, we will get their reaction momentarily, but I should say overall that they said it was an honest depiction of some of the problems that are faced in this country when trying to prosecute and exact what's going on in families where there is child abuse taking place. As they did discover here tonight, as many people did who were viewing, that child abuse covers race line, crosses class lines, and definitely crosses state lines. Children walk into the world completely innocent. Sometimes parents are ill-equipped for their jobs as mommy and daddy. Reports of child sexual, emotional, and physical abuse is on the rise nationally and here in Mississippi. From 8,000 cases reported in 1985 to almost double that figure reported last year, the problem is epidemic. Who rescues abused children from their living hell? Luckily, families like the Bonhams have opened their doors for children who have escaped severe abuse.
We have felt like we're kind of like a mass unit, that we take broken people and provide that safe place for them to be, and in the process, we do repair them, and we work on getting them back to a functional and a happy child again.
Do you think that the damage that's done with child abuse is irreparable?
No. I think through proper care and love and an example, and I think it can be overcome.
Many more children remain in abusive situations, children that the Department of Human Services caseworkers try to keep track of and try to rescue. I've been joined by two caseworkers who are out in those trenches working these cases every day, and we had talked about the court cases that you have to go through and what type of obstacles both of you go through. I guess I'll talk with Gloria first. You work here in Metropolitan Jackson. What particular problems do you think that you face here in Jackson that are unique to this area?
Well, I think, first of all, the volume, the number of reports we receive, the lack of staff in terms of to adequately intervene, initiate contact, and investigate these reports, and a lack of community support, for the most part, seem to be the primary problems that is posed. Some of the problem in terms of our being able to intervene and address the question of abuse.
Quick question. Are there more cases happening or more cases being reported?
So I would say statistically there's a significant increase in the number of reports in the metropolitan area, and I suspect most of the outlying areas.
Thank you, Gloria. Gloria Taylor, who is a caseworker in Jackson and now out in Rankin County. Melinda, you are in a somewhat more suburban area, but I understand you face similar problems out there as well. What is unique to your area and the problems that you're trying to deal with, particularly, you had mentioned the justice system as being a problem as well?
What is unique to our area is we're finding that we need more support from the justice system. We're having a lot of cases come in through our office, and we need the judges and the lawyers and the people in the judicial system to stand up and be behind child support, to get to the legislators say, okay, it is against the law to do this to children. Let's support what these social workers are out there doing. Let's get some prosecutions and help people to learn better alternatives to what's going on in the community. Just to support us is what we need from the judicial system.
Well, what about the community? Do you think folks in the community, if they knew what was really going on out there, if it was more publicized, would they react strongly?
Yes, I really feel that they do. I feel like they would stand up and they would come forth and they could offer some resources too that our social workers can't offer to the families, and it would help tremendously.
Right. Thanks so much, Melinda and Gloria, both for viewing this program with us this evening. It was obviously a very emotional program, Melanie, as both you and Walter were witnessing as well in the newsroom. It's a serious problem, both in Mississippi and across the country, and there are some people out there doing their efforts to make those things work, particularly the Bonhams as well, who are foster parents here in Jackson, who are working to take on children who are neglected and abused. But it's not going to change, and it's not going to be eradicated, as Oprah said several times, unless people stand up and do something about it and break the silence. Melanie?
Thank you, Derek, and we certainly do commend all the people who are doing whatever they can to stop this awful problem. That was the NewsCenter's Derek Jones reporting live from the home of a social worker in Northeast Jackson. Walter?
Major concern tonight in the Jackson school system about a recent Supreme Court decision on sovereign immunity. In a specially called meeting, board members called for the purchase of insurance to protect themselves against unlimited liability. The school system, though, says that they will pay for the additional coverage through reserve funds, which will not require a tax increase. Sovereign immunity is a long-standing doctrine adopted back in 1844. It says school districts were immune to lawsuits that involve students and staff personnel injuries. The court's decision impacts all school districts by holding them accountable for providing general liability insurance for students and workers' compensation for employees.
Well, Dr. Benjamin Canada, the head of the Jackson Public School System, told members of the school board today why he spent the last several days hospitalized.
And while he says he was suffering from extreme fatigue and some discomfort from chest pain, he was happy to report the following.
That there's absolutely no sign of any heart problem or coronary. The veins were good, the heart was good, blood pressure is fine, weight is not fine, cholesterol is not fine. I do enjoy sweets, and that's not good for me. So I have been advised to change my eating pattern, my exercise pattern, and I've also been advised that while the mission is one that I truly have at heart, that I should not try to accomplish everything in 1 year, so I will have to slow down some. So,
Dr. Canada says the University of Mississippi Medical Center conducted a series of tests to draw their conclusions. His annual physical is required by his contract.
At least 2,000 Rankin County citizens say they want liquor in their county, and on November 3rd, they believe they'll find more. Rankin County Citizens for Progress today submitted 2,000 signatures to the county supervisors to bring liquor sales to the county. The group members believe liquor sales will improve the economy and attract business.
I feel that we, as people of Rankin County, need to have the opportunity presented to us to have people come in here and build hotels, convention centers that would come in here and support Jackson. This is not just something for Rankin County, but something to spill over to the other areas in this county.
This effort comes less than a year since voters approved the sale of beer for the county.
An early evening shooting has left a Jackson man hospitalized. Jesse Whitfield of 2913 Holmes Street was hit with several blasts from a sawed-off shotgun outside of Jackie's Food Center on Woodrow Wilson and Brown Streets. He was transported to the University of Mississippi Medical Center, where he is reported to be in fair condition tonight. Jackson police say at this time they do not have a suspect and are continuing their investigation. More muscle is being added to the Jackson police force in an effort to protect officers and citizens.
The department now has over 400 new semi-automatic Glock 9mm handguns for its officers. The new weapon gives officers more firepower and is an easier pistol to handle. They say it will give them an edge over criminals who for years have carried superior weapons to those of the police. The 9mm were demonstrated on the firing range today, but before officers can carry one, they must pass a 3-day course on how to use the weapon. Meanwhile, local law enforcement agencies have already beefed up their manpower. More than 40 new officers were sworn in this morning. The ceremony took place at the Training Academy in Rankin County. The graduating class consists of 38 men and 3 women. They went through an intensive 9-week law enforcement training course.
Well, many people have already headed out of town for the weekend, and many more will be heading out of town this holiday weekend. The Mississippi Highway Patrol wants to remind motorists to buckle up and obey the speed limits, not to drink and drive. To get their point across, approximately 50 additional troopers will be patrolling the highways. Last year, 7 people died in fatal car accidents, 2,400 speeding tickets were issued, and 130 DUI arrests were made.
Drive defensively, don't drink and drive, and wear that seatbelt. Those 3 things there will probably do more toward getting us through a fatality-free weekend than anything else.
The Highway Patrol says speed will be checked by aircraft radar, and motorists can expect some roadblocks.
Economists already are bracing for the employment picture to get worse when September figures come out. Unemployment dipped slightly in August because of a summer jobs program, but economists say summer is ending. The Labor Department reports the jobless rate dropped to 7.6% in August. down from 7.8% in June. Meanwhile, more General Motor workers are out of work tonight. The automaker says plants in Delaware and Michigan have closed because of a lack of parts. A strike by United Auto Workers at a parts plant in Ohio has now shut down 9 plants. Marathon negotiations continue in the 9-day-old strike.
President Bush says that there's a big difference between his approach to small businesses and Bill Clinton's. Mr. Bush told a crowd in Virginia that he wants to reduce taxes and regulations on small businesses. He claims his Democratic rival wants to do just the opposite. Meanwhile, Clinton wants Bush to, quote, fess up and tell why he won't agree to a series of debates. The bipartisan presidential debate panel has proposed 3 matchups between Clinton and Bush and 1 between Vice President Dan Quayle and challenger Al Gore. Bush camp calls the challenge a diversionary tactic to draw attention away from questions about Clinton's draft record and tax proposals.
Trading on the American Stock Exchange shut down this morning because of a fire. Billowing smoke from a raging fire 1 block north filled the exchange floor around 9:30 a.m. Nearly 150 firefighters battled the blaze for nearly 3 hours. The stock exchange remained closed for the day because of the heavy smoke.
And still to come here on the News Center. The Goodyear blimp is flashing its message to Hurricane Andrew victims in Florida.
And an Italian relief plane that crashed may actually have been shot down. Stay with us.
You're watching WJTV, the News Center at 10. Thanks, Mississippi, for making us your first choice for news.
More help is on the way to Hurricane Andrew victims in South Florida.
The Goodyear blimp arrived to help with a relief effort. The well-known blimp is being used tonight and put to good use, we might add. The aircraft is flashing relief messages to people below in heavily damaged areas. Officials hope the messages will reach many people who are stuck in battered homes without communications and direct them to the nearest relief stations. Louisiana's oyster industry has taken a costly hit from Hurricane Andrew, and an estimated 182 million fish have been killed. The oyster and fish industries have already lost millions of dollars, and millions more are needed to bring the businesses back. But the damage extends far beyond the oyster industry.
Italy claims an Italian relief aircraft which crashed near Sarajevo was shot down. This story tops our World in Review tonight. A UN spokesman has apparently verified the claim, saying the wreckage was in pieces spread over a wide area, indicating it exploded in the air. All 4 crew members died in the crash. Meanwhile, 2 of 4 U.S. helicopters searching for the crash site claim they came under fire. U.S. officials aren't verifying that report, but want to know who's doing the shooting. The ousted 80-year-old Bulgarian communist leader Tudor Zekov has been sentenced to prison. Convicted on embezzlement charges, he still faces charges of sponsoring terrorism and ruining the country's economy. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison in order to repay the $24 million he embezzled. A leading French hospital is preparing to conduct its first robot-assisted surgery. A computer processing medical images will direct a robot performing spinal intervention. The new technology will be time-saving, increase accuracy, and reduce the need for extensive surgery.
And when we come back, Amy Gardner will have our complete weekend weather forecast.
And later, keep the krypton away. Superman could die. Well, first, before all the Superman fans call in, it's Kryptonite, not Krypton, and Mike Neely, apparently our producer, never read Superman comics. But you did, and you caught it right away.
I watched it on television all these years. Kevin is off, and here's Amy Gardner.
That's right.
And people are most interested in the weather this weekend.
Especially being a holiday weekend. Looks like we're going to have plenty of sunshine and a few scattered thunderstorms, but mainly lots of sun. So that's good. Yeah. And in fact, our humidity is going to be a lot lower, too, so that's going to be real nice dry weather. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. First, though, the numbers for tonight, and you can see at this hour, it's fair. The temperature is 73 degrees, but the humidity, a whopping 100%. It is kind of sticky tonight. Winds out of the east at 5 miles an hour, and the barometric pressure 30.12. And the high temperature in Jackson this afternoon did get up to 88 degrees. The normal's 90, so we're pretty close there. This morning, 67 degrees and normal 68, so we're pretty much on track with being normal. Well, as I mentioned, the humidity is going to be dropping a little bit over the weekend, but the same weather system that's going to do that to us is also going to be giving us a few areas of fog later on tonight, especially after midnight. So if you're going to be out late tonight or early tomorrow morning, Just allow a little extra time driving because some areas of fog are expected in the area that you see in blue here, and that is mainly from Oxford and Tupelo on down into the Jackson area and down to the southwest. You can see right here, mainly from Yazoo City to Vicksburg and up to the northwest. That area shouldn't be as affected, but this area right here in blue, possibility of fog, so be careful if you're going to be traveling. Now, tomorrow, if you're going to be traveling for football purposes, here are some football forecasts for you. For the red and blue at Ole Miss up there, the kickoff tomorrow, temperature will be 82 degrees, partly sunny skies. A few scattered thunderstorms are possible, dropping down to 75 by the end of the game. If you're heading to the game at JSU, kickoff, 81 degrees, down to 74 by the end of the game. Looks real nice. No mention of rain in Jackson tomorrow. And then heading down to Hattiesburg, mostly sunny skies, possibility of a thunderstorm for the Memphis State game down there. Kickoff time, temperature 88 degrees, which is a little bit warmer than the other places, 92 by the end of the game. So that's going to be just a little bit warmer. All right, let's check out the rain. And you can see we're pretty much rain-free at this time. Most of the rain has moved on out of Mississippi. However, some other areas not so lucky. The state making the big weather story tonight is in Georgia, southeast Georgia. If you're familiar with the town of Hazelhurst, Georgia, they've been getting 5 inches of rain today, some flooding problems. 2 feet of water reported to be on some parking lot areas there in Hazelhurst. Also, Raleigh, North Carolina getting very wet today with some heavy rain. And in Norfolk, Virginia, if you've been trying to phone someone there, they've had thunderstorms and power lines are reported to be down in some very strong thunderstorms from earlier tonight in Norfolk, Virginia. All right, things are looking pretty good in Mississippi. You can see we're clearing out. Look at the clearing line right there. But as we mentioned, we do expect some fog late tonight and early tomorrow morning. There is a possibility of severe weather tonight in the Plains and the Dakotas and in Nebraska. Severe thunderstorm watches in those areas until 4 o'clock in the morning. Looking pretty good in Mississippi tonight. A little upper-level disturbance that'll move across the area will take the rain away from us and move it over into the Carolinas tomorrow, and we'll clear out rather nicely. Looks pretty good on Sunday as well, but look up here. We see a cool front moving through the northern Rockies, and yes, that looks like snow. Here now is your feature photo for tonight, and this is kind of interesting, some antique cars. And we thank Mr. Chaffee of Jackson for sending that to us. Forecast for tonight looks like this. Pretty nice night, fair skies, and you'll be able to see that as we pop up the forecast. A little bit of fog after midnight tonight, 69 degrees overnight. Tomorrow, pretty nice day, partly sunny, slim chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, 91. The next 5 days, the weekend's looking real nice. In fact, just some isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon, high around the low 90s in the day, 70 at night, so we don't have too much to complain about.
Doesn't look too bad, does it?
That's true.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good holiday weekend.
Thank you.
Coming up in sports, get ready for scores and highlights of area high school football games.
And the final part of our series on USM football. Stay tuned. Sports is next.
Fred wants everyone to celebrate his 45th anniversary, so he's practically giving away Crunch and Munch, Hunt's Ketchup, and Atkins Pickles for $1. Ruffles Potato Chips, Gatorade, and French's Mustard only 88 cents. Why, if that weren't enough, photo processing and prints only 99 cents. Fred's toothpaste, 88 cents. And Mardi Gras paper towels, buy one, get another for just a penny with a $10 purchase.
Fred's, the lowest prices today, every day.
This is Kevin Janison, and just in case you missed it, here's one more look at your 5-day forecast.
High school football tonight.
Busy night for Rick.
Yes, it has been. I have on my sneakers. I needed them. All right, Friday night in September. You know what that means. High school football everywhere. Our first stop, Newell Field, where reporter Jason Penske tells you about Jim Hill and Murrah.
The 0-1 Mustangs anxious to break out early against the Jim Hill Tigers. It was opening day for the Tigers, and it showed on the opening kickoff. Welcome to the season. They cough it up deep in their own territory, and 3 plays later, Murrah's Fred Taylor heaves it up for Kobe Jenkins. An 11-yard scoring strike, and the extra point gave the Mustangs a 7-zip lead. The closest Jim Hill got to the end zone in the first half was the Murrah 25, with a familiar result. 1 of 4 Tiger fumbles, all pounced on by Murrah. The Mustangs increased their lead by chewing up almost 8 minutes of the third quarter. Nathan Beaver's 24-yard field goal was true for a 10-zip count, and Murrah goes on to even its record at 1-1 on the season, while the Tigers fall to 0-1. Jason Penske, WJTV, the NewsCenter Sports.
Let me take you over to Jackson Prep, where the Patriots playing arch rival Macomb Park Lane. Jason Albritton hits his tight end Jeremy Weekly for a real nice game. These two teams were going after each other all night long. But Jackson Prep put together an impressive drive. Alvin Stokes with a nice scramble here for the touchdown. Set up the 1-yard run. Actually, that's Neil Bartling with the touchdown. Prep led 7-0, and they go on to get the win over Macomb Park Lane. The final, Jackson Prep 23 and Park Lane 6. Meanwhile, over at Hughes Field, it was Lanier and Port Gibson. Lanier playing tough physical football tonight. Good defense. The Blue Waves had a chance late to go ahead. Keith Beasley takes in a pass and goes down to the 4-yard line, but the next play they fumble. And that's the way it would end. Lanier beating Port Gibson tonight by a score of 14-8. Out at Pearl, the Pirates hosting the Vikings of Warren Central. A packed house. Vikings quarterback Paul Kim throws, but it's intercepted. And Pearl, of course, plays a good defense all the time. Both these teams have very strong defensive units, but it was the Pirates prevailing tonight. They improved their record to 2-0. The final, Pearl beating Warren Central 14-7. Let's fire up the high school scoreboard. Brookhaven Academy beating Canton Academy 22-14. Rodney Martin had 2 touchdowns in that. Neshoba Central downing Starkville 14-7. It was Philadelphia over Euphoria 9-6. Madison Ridgeland Academy a 35-0 winner over Adams Christian. It was Cleveland shutting out Leland 6-0. Meridian a 21-6 winner over Laurel. Moss Point beating Greenwood 13-6. Jackson Academy a 28-14 winner over Oak Hill. Louisville 14, Tupelo 10. It was Puckett 14, Pisgah 6, and Hattiesburg a 38-16 winner over Macomb. Now some scores not on your board. Clinton has defeated Provine by a score of 44-27. St. Andrews an 8-6 winner over St. Joseph's. Pascagoula shutting out Natchez 25-0. West Point a 27-0 winner over Columbus. Couple others. Petal beat Quitman by a score of 7-0. Southern Baptist a 7-6 win over Clarksdale Lee Academy, and the Vicksburg Gators beating Jackson Callaway by a score of 29-19. Now, in wrapping up our USM Football Week, reporter Jason Penske takes a look at the Golden Eagles defensive unit.
It's an attacking type defense, and so it gives you, I think, gives your players a little more freedom to be more reckless and that kind of thing, and really turn your weight loose, and it gives you the opportunity to make some big plays.
I love this defense because, you know, they letting the ends and blood rush a lot, you know. All we had to do is come off the ball and everything, you know. I was glad they changed to a 4-3, and it was a wide-open defense for the defense, you know.
That will improve as the year goes on. But I feel good about our defense.
Yes, I feel like we came together because we got some kind of, we got a goal that we got this link and everybody sticking together, you know.
Let's look in on some big league baseball. Philadelphia nipping Atlanta 2-1. San Diego 7-5 winner over Chicago in 14 innings. New York 5, Cincinnati 2. Montreal downing Houston 5-2. Pittsburgh nipping Los Angeles 6-5. In San Francisco and St. Louis at the final now. The Giants beating the Cardinals 4-3. In the American League, New York 6, Texas 3. Toronto 16, Minnesota 5 in the 8th inning. Cleveland shutting out Seattle 7-0. Milwaukee a 6-3 win over Detroit. Chicago shutting out Kansas City 3-0 in the 6th. Boston and Oakland tied at 1 in the 5th. Baltimore and California no score in the 1st. And at the U.S. Tennis 6-2, Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, Pete Sampras, Mal Washington advanced. Jimmy Connors is playing Yvonne Lindell. Connors won the first set 6-3, so that's a pretty good match going on as we speak.
That is good. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick. And as the NewsCenter continues, could the Man of Steel's life be in danger?
We'll tell you as the NewsCenter continues.
Finally tonight, the comic strip hero Superman is about to bite the bullet. According to his creators, DC Comics, the Man of Steel will be killed off in an upcoming comic book issue. Superman, otherwise known as Clark Kent, will die in hand-to-hand combat with an alien nutcase named Doomsday. The issue is due out November 8th, and writers aren't saying whether or not they'll bring the man from planet Krypton back at a later time. Yeah, it saddens you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, can it be?
I don't know. I'm not sure. That is our report for this evening, though. Thank you so much for joining us.
As we leave you tonight, greetings from some of our friends here in the Jackson area.
This has been WJTV, the News Center, the news leader in Central Mississippi.